Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us for Politically Incorrect Knitters. I'm Deplorable Knitter, and I'm joined, as always, by the lovely and talented Anne Pinkava. And boy, is there a lot to talk about today.
So much to talk about. Thanks for joining us.
Yes. But before we get into the heavy stuff, you want to show us your knitting? You got anything going on?
Well, the only thing I'm working on the same stuff forever. 1 second. Biff. All right. So, Israeli beanie, I know I've said this forever, should be out this week. And then if it doesn't, bring the pitchforks because I'll need something to get it out there. So and I've made quite a lot of them. That we have the original and this one, and I mean I can make it rain, it's amazing. But I keep joking. There's enough Israeli beanies that looks like we're the home of the international Jewish conspiracy or something. They're just everywhere. They're coming out of the corners. But yeah, so pattern should be out. By the time that this video is published, it'll be Hanukkah. So happy Hanukkah, everybody. But yeah, so.
Yes, happy Hanukkah.
Yay. It's going to be a good one. Anyway, so that's coming out. Hong Kong beanie, or not beanie, scarf. Still working on it. Still coming. I'm knitting my little fingers off. Got some feedback from my test knitter on this, so that should hopefully come out soon. And I'm working on a couple of different charts because I was reliably informed by my mother that nobody cares about Hong Kong, which I was a bit offended for all of Hong Kong and democracy and free speech and stuff. But the chart, which may or may not, I don't want to promise this, but what I'm working on is undesirable #1, but with a profile of Trump on it. So I'm pretty excited about that. It won't be a complete pattern. It'll just be the chart. So that's what I'm working on this week.
That's exciting.
Any fun, exciting projects for you?
Well, I don't know how exciting it is, but there are 35 Stop the Steal beanies in my future. So here's one. Here's one.
Last time I talked to you, it was only 31.
Here's one.
Bringing up like daisies. Sorry.
Yeah. So it's okay. I mean, I am not complaining, but I'm going to be like you for a while. I will be able to make it rain, Stop the Steal beanies, except I won't because they'll be getting shipped out as soon as they're dry from blocking. That's the one thing. I hate blocking, but it makes such a difference. This hat is not blocked, and you can just so tell, the crown is just nobody's head is that puffy mushroom shape on top. So it needs to be done, but I wish it was, who knows, maybe I'll take a blow dryer to make it speed up.
Maybe low setting on the dryer. That might be a horrible idea.
No. Like a fan. I will get the fan out of the attic kind of thing. I'm not going to put it in the dryer. I would just cry if I ruined one.
Limited edition. Stop the Steal baby beanie.
I did get some interesting requests for some different things. Somebody wanted one for a Trumpy bear. I don't know if they ever ended up actually ordering it or not. Because I got so many emails, it was hard to keep track of who. I sent the link out probably a couple hundred times, and so it's hard to keep track of who decided to order it and who got patterns and who. It was a lot. It's been a lot, and I was telling Anne, I was whining. One of my kids woke me up at 3:30, and so that's when I got up today, and it's now 10 o'clock. So if I look glassy-eyed, I'm not drunk or anything. I'm just wishing I was in my bed. But we would have more beanies done. But I want to tell you the saga of the Christmas stockings. Many moons ago, before Stop the Steal happened, my mom and I had a commission for Christmas stocking. It's all fine and good and whatever. she did one and then she got a frozen shoulder, so she could not complete the second one. It's fine. Here's my mom's stocking. I won't show you the name, but here it is. It's got Santa on it, and he's filling a stocking. And look, there's more stockings, and it's beautiful. It's really, she did a really, really nice job on it, right?
Stockingception. Stockingception. You have stockings on your stockings.
I know, right?
Very proper in 1950s.
The thing about this, and anybody who's watched this for more than one episode knows how I feel about Intarsia and how Intarsia feels about me. So this is my mom's stocking. And this is my stocking, which isn't bad. It's not great, but if you look on the back, my stockings are really goofy looking. If you look at Santa's legs, this one's really, really fat and this one's really, really skinny. And I don't know what I did wrong. Like I had my stitch count wrong and everything's just really lumpy. And then for some reason, the foot is like twice as big as the other one.
Well, clearly somebody wants a football for Christmas. So that's not going to happen from having small feet on your stocking.
No, but seriously, look at this. It's like, can you see the difference there? It's like another two. I don't even know what happened. So my mom is knitting another stocking because mine cannot be used for anything. And so for days and days and days, I wasn't working on beanies as much as I needed to because I was knitting the stocking that is now going to be lit on fire later because it's used. I mean, it's sad. So that's the stocking saga. And so now that I've tried Intarsia again, I'm not doing it anymore. It's not my thing. I hate it. It hates me. We're done. I've broken up with Intarsia.
Intarsia is heartbroken.
You know what, Anne? I'll probably try again. I mean, for real. We all have that ex that, you know, you kind of can't get rid of. So I'm sure I'll try it again. But
Intarsia will call you back later. It'll be a lonely night, and Intarsia will slide into your DMs, and maybe you'll reply.
You know what though? Intarsia, there's not enough time in the day for it right now while I'm knitting all these other hats.
That is true. That is true.
I maybe over the summer, Intarsia and I can try to work it out, but I don't know. No idea.
Well, and you didn't even mention your yarn saga.
Oh my gosh. Let me get my yarn. So the other reason that we're a little bit slow on getting the hats started, we would have liked to have probably a couple more done by now, but because we live in a state that's had really strict COVID restrictions, the local yarn shop where I shop is not open. They're doing curbside pickup, but they don't have much in stock because COVID and people aren't going to the store. And so I had to order the yarn online, and the black came in and it was beautiful. And the blue is a gorgeous color. And I mean, the white is white, right? And we're working with a couple different similar reds because they're hats and it doesn't really matter. They are all similar and they look nice.
Right. And colors are different when you're online too. So it's not, you don't have to have the same color red. You know, if it's generally the same red,
right,
they're not going to
they're about the same. And I mean, anybody who ordered 2 or 3 hats is going to get the same lot of hat color. You know what I mean? It's all very similar. But I ordered red. So excited my package comes. I can finally get going on these hats. The color I get is not red. It is, although it looks redder on this screen today, it is maroon. It's supposed to be sour cherry. I don't think it's sour cherry. It's maroon. I mean, it's not red. It's just so. I don't know about any of you friends out there in internet lands, but you ever tried to order red yarn at Christmas? I could not get worsted weight red yarn anywhere. And that's the other reason for the I made an order and they're like, do you care if the lot numbers match? And I'm like, no, I certainly don't care if they match because I just want some red yarn at this point.
Right.
I was like, could I dye some? Like, I don't really have time to do that, but I could. And I'm like, no, that's a terrible idea. There's got to be yarn somewhere I can buy. So, all in all, it has been a struggle between the stocking and the yarn, but we're finally making progress.
See, I said that bunch of maroon, you could knit yourself a Weasley sweater next year. I mean, Christmas is about when you'll be done with the beanies anyway, so it works out great.
Well, and when we got that yarn, I showed it to my mother and she goes, "Oh, that color reminds me of something Anne would wear. Maybe she wants it."
Well, I don't mind a bit
Just
of maroon.
And it's a nice maroon. But when you are expecting sour cherry that's like a heathered, deep red, and you get maroon, It is not a happy time. In another circumstance, I may have also enjoyed that color, but now I will hate it forever. So we're going to move on.
You're making all sorts of yarn enemies this week.
Dude, what do you want from me? I've been living I was the reason I got up at 3:30 after my kid woke me up, obviously, is because I was like, I got to weave in all the ends from doing all the intarsia. So I sat up for 3 hours this morning weaving in ends on a stocking that when the daylight came, I realized that it looked like one of my kids had knit it, and it would never be acceptable to give to a person. So anyway, I have a lot of feelings about things today. But before we move on to politics, Anne and I have been terrible. And it's mostly me because I make all of our graphics. So I will take all the blame for it. I have the winners for our thing that we drew for our patriotic knit along that I totally forgot to do. So, number 1, Chicken Lady Fiber Arts Hot Chocolate DK yarn. Lovely. And a pattern for myself and a pattern from Anne is Michelle Marie. So, yay, congratulations. And then winner number 2 gets the Donald Trump mug and a pattern from each of us. And that's Windy Hill Farms. And then winner number 3, I don't have anything to show because you get digital patterns. So
yay!
Yay! But that's still exciting. And that's Rochelle Knits. So yay, exciting. Congratulations to everybody who won. And thanks for everybody who participated. It's a lot of fun. And I think we're doing one more giveaway before the end of the year, right, Anne?
That we're going to be doing a Christmas giveaway. But yeah, lots of neat stuff that people made.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, every time that I see that someone has knitted Betsy Ross hat, my little heart just overflows with joy. So, like, someone's actually knitting my stuff. That's great. Sorry, I get excited.
There's a special feeling inside that's like all warm and cozy when you see the things that came out of your brain, and then people are like loving them and making them, and like in my case with this one, like everybody's ordering it, and like, yeah, I feel a little bit stressed out at the prospect of knitting 35 hats, but on the other hand, I'm like, wow, 35 people wanted my hat. Like, cool. I'll be knitting forever, but fun, exciting.
Right.
So,
right, and I'm always, almost childishly entertained whenever I'm on Instagram or I'm wherever, and wandering the internet at large, and then like, oh, I see your hat. Or, oh, on Instagram, it's more, I'll see someone has made a Betsy Ross hat or something, but it's like, oh, I'm just over here flipping through Parler, and oh, it's your Stop the Steal hat again. And oh, look.
Maybe I should go flip through Parler. It'll buoy my spirits. It'll lift me up.
That's right. That's right.
But
shared on conservative knitting forums everywhere. And Breitbart.
Of course.
EJ Media.
And Breitbart.
See,
I was shared around some, yes.
Breitbart needs to, expand their base a little bit. Clearly lacking in more conservative knitting news, but we'll give them time. They'll make it.
You can work on it. I mean, when I told some people that there was an article about it on Breitbart, they went, what? So I guess that it's not as popular. I spend a lot of time like watching conservative things. So I guess it's not as mainstream as I had perceived it to be. So
Well,
that's okay. Actually, several people that I was bragging about it to had never heard of it. And so then it lost some of its luster, unfortunately. Maybe it's not as cool as I thought it was. Sorry.
well, I think it's pretty awesome, but I'm me, so you know.
But I hang out with you. That's why I expected everybody to think it was really awesome. But
Everyone, why are you excited about this?
I know. So I'm not going to whine about yarn anymore. Yarn is fabulous. I have plenty of red now. I have probably more red than any other color. I'll probably need to order more of the other, but whatever. I have red. That's all that mattered. The rest of it, nobody seemed to care that much about. So how about news, Anne?
News. Whew. Well, besides the very exciting week that we personally have been having, let's see, and YouTube now saying that I'm sorry, the deadline is now. Any more election news, you're out. Like, YouTube.
Yeah. So friends. Yeah. So our friends, please look for us on Rumble, because odds are that we won't be on YouTube for long.
So, lawyers I trust, not many. Cindy Powell, Bill Richmond. It's a short list. Linwood is on there, but there's a hierarchy. So hopefully, in watching Stephen Crowder's show and everything, that Bill Richmond will beat YouTube back a bit. But it doesn't mean that we might not be booted anyways. So that's right, an off chance hope.
And so if YouTube does choose to get rid of us because we are not sheep, you can find us on Rumble. And just the thing that kills me, right? The notice that was put out by YouTube said that now that most states have certified their results, or whatever was, what is it called, Anne?
Let's see, Safe Harbor Day, where most states have their certified results in by. That was basically it.
So now that the Safe Harbor Day has passed, is what they said.
The term that nobody used until this year. There's a lot of
I've never heard of it before, so I don't know what it is
now, but that's one of them.
Well, we have a lot of asinine words from this year. Let's just
I know.
Oh my gosh. So anyway,
I'm against this, and I blame Webster's dictionary because they let a lot slide. But that is.
Yes. But so the basis of YouTube's proclamation is that because the Safe Harbor Day has passed, anything that contests the election now that states have certified will be removed because it's false information. And it goes against the election results and things of that nature. And so I just want to know, why did we have 4 years of Russia collusion if that's what they think?
Oh yeah. And
because we have lawsuits, Anne. We have lawsuits happening right now, but YouTube's saying, oh no, it's already been decided. Move on. Nothing to see here.
My state is suing your state, which I think is pretty awesome.
Dude, everybody should be suing my state because it sucks. And when I saw that South Dakota had joined, I was very happy for you, because at least you live in a decent place. I just saw something where my governor's going to raise taxes because everybody's leaving the city and we don't have any money because he's a stupid butthead. But anyway,
that really helps people move back.
Yeah, totally. Raise the taxes. I really like where I live, but I don't see it lasting. It's unfortunate.
But the YouTube policy, and I think they specified saying that the election was run by faulty voting machines or something along that line. And
I didn't see the whole thing.
Yeah, and it was really sketchy in wording, like, oh, well, I would never be there on 8th Street, with a cane in the middle of the night. And it's like, why are you bringing this up if it didn't happen? Why are you saying, well, I would never have bet, the election was totally good, and it especially was good when it came to vote counting, and everything was above board and everything was perfect.
fine. There were no suitcases under any tables. There were no people running the same stack through several times. There were no machines that counted extra from one person over the other, even though they put the same number in.
Yeah.
None of that happened, so don't worry.
Totally didn't happen that there were two different mathematicians who both independently came to the same conclusion that for the results to happen in the way that did, that the voting machine, every vote for Biden must have counted 1.3 votes, and every vote for Trump must have counted 0.7. There weren't two highly respected mathematicians who were suddenly booted off Twitter and had these issues.
Oh, and there also wasn't a person who came out and said that the chances of it happening in one state the way it did was 1 in 1 quadrillion, and for it to happen the way it did in 4 states was 1 in 1 quadrillion to the 4th power. So nothing to see here. Not a thing.
Safe and secure. Safe and secure.
And that's what, but if we let them intimidate us, then we should go stand in line with our masks on and just, because that's what we're going to have. 100 days of masks, no matter what.
Yeah. And also, like, that is not the talk of winners. Winner talk isn't, you shut up now. Truth talk isn't, nobody can question me. Like, this isn't,
right,
you're
right.
not,
like,
you're kind of flailing out in all directions. You're not, being reasonable or calm here.
Exactly. And like, it just really makes you wonder, like, if there was nothing to hide, if there was nothing shady, then why would they have to shut everybody down? Why would all these people be putting, dude, every post I put on Instagram, even if I don't put election tags on it, has an election warning.
Oh.
So apparently I've become so dangerous that I myself am an election warning.
You are an election warning in and of yourself. And also have a pause here to remind everyone that we are on Parler and MeWe and Vero. And again, this will be on Rumble, because with all of this going on, again, we're gonna be there as long as we can, but as things switch, you just be aware.
Yeah. And we'll post all the stuff on our accounts so that people can find us, and we'll post it sooner than later so that you can find us before they make us go away. So, yeah, but I just love the whole, if I was telling the truth, I would have no problem defending my stance, right? And so I think that's how most people feel. So if you're trying to shut us down at every turn, you're saying with big flashing letters that that you're a bunch of liars. You all know it, and you're trying to make us all believe it, and it's just really creepy.
Right. And it's this weird supposition that the big tech people are the smartest people in the room. They are so smart, so clever, and clearly you dumb peasants won't know a false thing unless we tell you. You won't have any long-term memory to see if what a person says actually turns out to be the case, or if they say something is going to happen, that it follows through. Not at all. Long-term memory seems to be a thing that social media is rather against, indirectly or directly. So whatever. And again, to harp on Merriam-Webster, who actually changed definitions that saying that sexual preference is now a slur when it has never been a slur. It's just a defining term. So stuff like that, very 1984 thing. In Russia, it used to be that if the party said that something in the newspaper didn't happen, that they would send you the news story and you had to paste it over your newspaper. Like, you could not have kept the old newspaper. You weren't allowed to. New story, new clip. With the internet, it's much more easy to erase stories you don't like.
Right. And a minute ago, you were talking about how big tech people are the smartest people ever, and that's why they can tell us all this stuff. But
Right.
I was listening to Adam Carolla today. I do not remember who he was on. I was up for so long today that I was like binging all these political shows. So I got a lot of information. I couldn't tell you where I got it. But Adam Carolla was talking this morning, and he was talking about how Elon Musk is the smartest dude ever. I think he may have said he was the smartest dude in the universe or the world, or, very broad terms of his intelligence. And they were talking about him leaving LA. And Adam was going, well, if Elon Musk is leaving LA, then I'm going to also have to leave LA, because you don't watch the smartest guy in the room leave and then hang around.
Mm.
But it was just really funny to me that, like, have some common sense, like,
Yeah, and this is also with LA and sort of, you have echo chambers of social media, but you also have echo chambers of places. And some people may not remember or be familiar with Rhett and Link, that they're very big YouTube entertainers. They do just weird videos, will it taco, like gross out food videos, and it's all very light, fluffy stuff. Anyways, they were originally from South Carolina, and they moved to LA, and they had been there for several years. And then within this past year, they said, we're not Christians anymore. We're agnostic. We don't believe in God. Or, don't, there may be a God, but, we don't know about him. When before they were pretty, fairly conservative Christians, I would think, was the group that they hang around in. And there was some speculation there, but one of the things they were all like, oh, well, we were so sheltered in South Carolina, and now we go to big bad no, they didn't say this, but they go to LA, and clearly that changed their point of view. It's like, you were not less sheltered in LA than you are in South Carolina. If you're only among one sort of people, it doesn't matter if you're in South Carolina or LA or Idaho or New York or anywhere else on the planet. If you're only among people of one political mindset or one spiritual religious mindset, or only a certain amount of thing, that you have these tech people, and tech people say, oh, those rubes who live out there, those peasants, they don't know, and they don't know what we know. And they're also, again, in their own little bubble of thought that it's, you're not more knowledgeable because you're in a different bubble.
No, that's a good point. But the thing is that they want us to, the more you're around something, the more you see it, the less likely it's going to bother you or shock you, or so this whole election thing is dragging on. The media is censoring it pretty heavily. They're putting all these election warnings up on social media, which most people are pretty into nowadays. And so if you're on social media, if you're watching mainstream news, you're gonna get used to seeing that. You're gonna get used to them kind of subtly telling you what's going on and what to do. And it's a way to control people. It's like the picture you walk by every day. After a while, you don't even notice the election warning on the thing, or the fact that, oh, facts about COVID, or they're bombarding you so that you're desensitized, so that you are going to more easily follow their agenda. I think is a lot of it.
It's very true. And
I don't know if that goes with your thing, but
no, that's good. No, because and then like I've noticed new things coming up with the, you have the election warnings and the results are certified now. Results are certified. If you think I believe results are certified any more than I believe that Joe Biden is the president-elect, then boy, howdy, you have something new to say. But I wonder, just to pause from what I was, to interrupt myself, I wonder what it is like to absolutely believe what the election warnings tell you to think. That must be the most easiest go with the flow thing. Not that I am in any ways induced to believe these things, but I tend to flip through the internet and be like, yeah, whatever, buddy. Like, to see those election warnings and not have that reaction. Like I said, I got a new thing today of, by the way, now's the time to sign up for the healthcare marketplace. The deadline is whatever. I'm like, why did you decide you need to tell me that? Thank you for only, if I have anything in relation to the government, I am so glad that Instagram will remind me of it. So I don't have to, maybe if I was interested, write it on the calendar, for example. If Instagram didn't tell me that November 3rd was the day to vote this past year, could I have even remembered it? If Etsy wasn't telling me that I couldn't say anything against the census, then how could I question it? It's just another thing. And like a couple months back, the World Health Organization was running ads about how like contraception was a good part of your health. And I'm like, why am I getting this ad? And wasn't this reserved for COVID warnings? What is this? Why? You're not helping your case. Beyond the fact that, World Health Organization are total shills for China, who won't recognize Taiwan's existence.
I mean, besides that, obviously.
Seriously, the best indictment of China throughout the entire coronavirus thing is, look it up. It was Trump's statement on why we left the World Health Organization. It's 4 pages. It's highly entertaining, good information. Look it up. It's good.
Good to know. I'll have to double check it. I don't remember.
Oh, it's awesome. Like, you can just imagine in the White House printer when they're printing it off so Trump can sign it in the bottom, or whatever, however that process works. Like, it must have been on fire. Like, it glowed as it sat there in the printer tray waiting for people to pick it up. Because that is some hot takes.
Oh my gosh. So now that we've griped about big tech and all of that, what about Texas? What about Texas bringing the suit? Like, come on. Some brave people there.
Well, somebody had to do it.
I know somebody had to do it, but man. And it's so, I mean, dude, if you can get your hands on it and read it, I did not read the whole thing, but like some of the phrasing in there is like iconic. Like I can see it like lasting a lifetime, and be like telling my great grandkids, I remember the election when Texas said.
Right. I haven't read it yet. I'm excited though.
Oh yeah, I didn't, like I said, I didn't read the whole thing, but in my weird media binge I had today, because it's been, I don't know, many hours since I started watching the news. I saw it, and it was very.
Well, someday some other knitters will be putting it on a quilt. Yeah, when the vintage girls of the future are debating on what color leggings were most appropriate for this era. At the same time, they can also talk about the infamous Texas declaration. Suit to the Supreme Court.
Yeah. Somebody read it. I watched something about it from a lawyer this morning, which is why, like I said, there's just so many things.
Mm-hmm. And even with all of the election stuff coming through, and it's like, okay, we're all looking towards this case, and we're looking at whatever Cindy Powell's doing, and we're trying to watch this and watch that. Everyone always likes a juicy scandal thrown in the middle of certain Chinese spies and their relations with certain high-ish level of government officials.
Yeah. So Russia collusion, right? Russia collusion. Never mind
So
the
many
fact
Russians.
They were coming out in clown cars, just piling out of them everywhere. It was insane. Russians.
You walk over to your kitchen, you're like, oh, I think I'll get some milk. Bam! Russian collusion right there in the fridge. You're like, oh, dang it. How did this happen?
Right. But never mind the fact that Eric, is that his first name?
I believe so.
Eric Swalwell?
Yes.
I think so. Anyways, Swalwell. Swalwell. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yes, Eric Swalwell. Yes.
So, come to find out, that dude totally was hanging out with a Chinese spy.
Mm.
You know,
called Fang. When?
I think she went by Christine Fang when she was here, and she was a college student. But I saw Sebastian Gorka commenting on it, and he was like, we heard about Russian collusion for all these years. Never mind the fact that there was a Chinese spy in Eric Swalwell's underpants.
And the thing, they were caught together in a car by the FBI. There's pictures. I haven't seen the pictures. I don't want to see the pictures.
Nobody wants to see the pictures. Yeah. So I'm sorry, but Sebastian Gorka saying that she was in his underpants just was the line of the day. But never mind, there's nothing going on here. Nothing to see. Move along.
No, not a bit. And especially since Eric Swalwell so earnestly told us all that China was not something that you should worry about. Clearly, he knows he has close contact with China. And I'm sure he would tell us if there is anything untoward.
Right. And here's another question. And why dude should not have any security clearance right now, because he was with the chick for 4 years. He must have been telling her stuff, because spies don't just hang out with people that they're not getting any information from. It's not how they work.
Anyways, if she had only been a gold digger and not a spy, what's she doing with him? Surely she could work her way up if she found better going somewhere else.
Well, she started with him when he was a city councilman. She helped him raise money. She
Wow.
was a bundler, which means that, where'd that money come from? Is there a reason that he's telling us there's no reason to be scared of China?
May she have some contacts that would help support his campaign, seeing that he is a valuable asset suddenly?
I have no idea.
Speculation, of course.
I mean, before she left, I think she helped install an intern in his office. I'm fairly certain I heard that. I'm not 100% certain. But, some shady things happening, and nobody seems to care. But
it also surprises me that when I've been opening my fridge all this time and finding Russian collusion, when I turn all of my glasses over in my cupboard, they all happen to say China. So it strikes me that they might be a little more concerning.
That is a very good point, my friend.
Or maybe not a good point.
There's still nothing to see here. Don't worry.
Not a single thing.
She's just hanging out in his underpants, so whatever. I'm sorry. I think that is so funny because Sebastian Gorka said it. So he's just very solemn a lot of the time and very. And then he came out with that, and I was like in the kitchen cooking, and I was like, "What?" I couldn't have heard that right, but I did, and it was funny.
So, if you have a moment tonight, spare a thought for Fang Fang, who probably isn't doing so well in her great and beautiful home country, because her face is now all over American media, and some people might take unkindly to that. So,
Yeah. She she fled in 15, 18 when the FBI started investigating her. She went home, so yeah, I didn't even think about that, but she's probably not doing well because if she
no,
had to run home and they knew what she was doing, she's probably in trouble.
yeah, or maybe she's in a great new industry, messing with some other guy. Maybe
Maybe
she
she doesn't
ingratiated
work.
herself at the Chinese party. I don't know. One does not wish to speculate, but
Yeah, so, but don't worry because there's nothing going on with China. And all those pics that Biden is putting in for his cabinet that he does not know the name of. Did you see him announce the Health and Human Safety? Is that the office?
or
Health and
service.
Human Health and Human Services. Yes, I'm sorry. So he was announcing Health and Human Services, but he was like Health and Education Services, and then he didn't know the dude's name, and then he couldn't say the guy's name, and that just makes me wonder if he's ever even heard of him before.
Right. Who made these pics? I don't know. It's all ridiculous. But
the whole thing is ridiculous. But there's nothing to see there. But there was Russian collusion, even though it was investigated and proven false and whatever. There's still collusion.
So nothing to see there. And also
Nothing to see anywhere.
absolutely nothing to see when Phone texted us this past week saying that there's protesters in Scranton, Pennsylvania, of all places, waving Trump flags. Nothing to see about people trying to support businesses and protest against lockdowns, not only in America, but around the world. But
Dude, it's just it's sad. The fact that we're even talking about any of this is so sad for our country, who was once a great power, and now we're gonna fall to a freaking mass hysteria over masks and some election fraud. You know what I mean? It's just like,
well, one would hope that we would rally, yes, and I think we will. Hopefully, might be some bad times in the middle, but hopefully we'll out in the end.
Yeah. No, I just I don't know. What else do you have to say about the court case? We didn't really talk about that. The suit that Texas is bringing, the reason that they're bringing it is really interesting. I don't know if people really understand this. The reason Texas is bringing it is because they are saying that even though they were able to vote properly in their state, because other states did not follow the laws, it is affecting their rights. Because Texas was good, they followed the laws, they did what they were supposed to, but all these other states were just making up rules willy-nilly, and that goes against the Constitution and against their state legislatures and all different things.
Maybe right, you're wrecking it for everybody.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that was done was not following the proper channels, and that's a lot of what the suit is saying. It's not necessarily, if this goes through, the electors won't count, and it will go back to the state legislatures where they will choose the president, is what I believe it means. So it's just the beginning. It's just starting.
And we're still not even outside of the amount of time that Al Gore took to go to the Supreme Court. So it's over.
Well, people keep saying that, and they're man, we already said the term, and I still don't remember what it was. The 8th was
Safe Harbor Day.
Yes. So, yeah, Safe Harbor Day doesn't mean anything. the 14th, which is when the states are supposed to certify or the electors, or that means nothing. The only day in the Constitution is January 20th. So
That's right.
whatever anybody else is telling you, those are just arbitrary things that have been made up, and it just makes things easier because, you know, it's easier to inaugurate a president when you know who it's going to be and plan ahead. And
Right.
but in a situation like this where there's a lawsuit, you can go up until the day of, and that's all that there is to it. So don't be disheartened.
Exactly.
So I don't know. What else do you think, Anne?
News from England. Everything is terrible. And no, vaccine is just starting. There's a lot of protests about it, about whether or not people will be forced to take it or not. Brexit negotiations look a little iffy. We're hoping it's good. Lawrence Fox had the unmitigated gall to put a decent political campaign ad about what his Reclaim Party believes, but to do it in the style of a men's perfume advertisement. So it's all very like dark room, soft, deep voice. This is what the Reclaim Party thinks. And I'm like, what's going on here? It's not as if I'm against it, but like, what are we talking about? Like, I'm having a good time, but I feel like you're trying to sell me something I can't afford. I don't feel like, you know, this is a sort of dark room setting for me to talk about politics. What is this? You know, most people, when they talk about politics, talk on a podium, not just barely coming out of the shadows. Guess it's hip and with the kids and everything. But
I mean, he's an actor, right? So you would expect him to be a little bit more in touch with, I don't know,
well-produced.
Something.
So far,
yeah, well-produced.
He seems to be doing very well among female voters. But no, I'm sure there's a wide campaign for him. He's saying good stuff.
Funny.
British values, not a right-leaning or a left-leaning, but a vote British.
So, yeah, I didn't know that he was so fabulous. I will have to go look up his perfume ad now.
Exactly.
See what he has to say, see if it makes me feel creepy or not. I don't know.
No, that's the thing, though. It reminded me, even though, again, the meat of what he said was very good, very straightforward, very clearly kind of set out what his party was about. But it kind of reminded me of maybe you've seen Kong Skull Island. Okay, so it's a totally lame action movie.
You're talking to me,
right? Anyways, it's a totally lame action movie. You expect it to be a totally lame action movie, and you know there's Kong, King Kong. There's an island. Some army people are going to shoot it up. This is dumb, but we're all having a nice time here. But at the same time, it was like a Vogue photo shoot of Tom Hiddleston. So, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, this is a dumb action movie. Why do you have two different focuses of light when we meet him in this sketchy bar? Why is this essential to the plot of the movie? And then there's like some other unnecessary shots throughout this film. And I'm like, what's going on here? Like, what? Like, separately, I understand these things, but together they get a little confusing. So, anyway.
I'll have to look that up. Not much into movies. I like Hallmark. You ever watch Hallmark movies?
I do. I don't get the Hallmark channel currently, but nice Hallmark movie. Nice. Predictable.
Yes, I enjoy them a lot. And I just saw an ad for one with Ben, Boy Meets World. Corey, is his name Corey? He was Corey on the show. You know, Boy Meets World. You don't know Boy Meets World?
I know of it. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. See, this is when the 10 years makes a difference. Boy Meets World. What is his name? I'm gonna know now, so whatever. Ben Savage.
Okay.
So he's gonna be in a Hanukkah movie.
Wow.
Which is fine. I don't mind the Hanukkah movie as long as it's got a nice I enjoy the Hallmark Channel. I can leave the room and leave it on usually, and I know that the kids aren't going to see anything inappropriate.
I think the Hanukkah
So anyway.
movie is an untapped demographic. I
I
think
do.
you could
And
really.
I get that.
It's really difficult to have Hanukkah movies.
Who knows? Maybe they fall in love over the 8 nights of Hanukkah. I don't know.
Oh, that'd be super
I mean,
cute.
it's a Hallmark movie, so I'm sure it's going to be
That's
something
exactly
along
how
those
it will
lines.
go then, being a Hallmark movie. Night 1, she's not into him, but on night 7, she's like, wow, what a dude.
And on night 8, they get married, so it's fine. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Around night 3, she finds out that he has a girlfriend, but it's his ex-girlfriend, but she doesn't know. So she's a little miffed about that.
Yes. So they get in a fight and don't talk for a day. Yeah.
Oh.
Exactly.
Until...
You guys should write movies.
Exactly. Again, she's the list of places that we are on now. We are like, comment, subscribe, YouTube, Rumble, Instagram. You're on Facebook. You have a page on Facebook. Vero, MeWe, Parler, Galilee Life, which is where you're on.
Yeah.
See, I'm on Lovecraft.
And on Lovecraft.
Right. We're still both on Etsy, though. We're trying to wean ourselves off that.
Yeah. We're going to migrate away. It's just things need to calm for a minute.
Right.
But yeah.
That's 10 platforms you can find us on, people.
Yeah. If you want to find us, and we will answer messages. So if you need to get a hold of us, although I'm not great about checking the new things, the MeWe, the Parler, the Vero, I forget. So, but we'll find you. We're around.
Yeah.
So, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
And 1 week closer to Christmas. Woohoo!
Please don't remind me. I'm not ready. I've got 35 minutes to make.
All right, sorry. Have a good week, guys.
All right. Bye, everyone.